Yeah, he's really excited about the snake, though, and the mention of there being other people. And yes, the he goats people are like the mangy dogs, but these people live descendants of the people that lived in the cities that did escape the cataclysm. They settled in the north part of the swamp, and
What do you think of them, Mordak?
I think they are they are not as bad as people think they are. That is not true. They are dangerous because they are very different from us. But I haven't been able to discern a lot from their culture, and I haven't spent a lot of time studying.
No, I wouldn't mind chatting up Pixie a little bit when we get a little chance to talk on our own. So, Pixie, uh, the Empire could stretch further west, in which case all it will do is run into more weird tribal wastes. It can't go east because that just goes into the Savage Mountains where bad elves and good elves are killing each other. Um, in the south, there are all those weird pagan kingdoms and deluded democracies of one sort or another, basically just a bunch of robber barons. Um, if you were to reveal, is it true that you have been, blessed with an understanding that the Empire could reclaim the past buried beneath the fens? That the evil there that we saw and spoke to us could be defeated? Surely you would rise high. Surely those with you could find, meaning and reward.
Pixie Pixie smiles and nods and says, "Well, of course, this would all be for the good of the Empire, but yeah,
the Empire only exists to serve the living gods."
That is true, and I think the living gods, including me, but others as well. I think that there is much that is appealing in this place that others had dismissed as being simply a bog that had kind of buried the past that could never be turned to good use. But I think
what kind of empire would it be if it just allows ancient evil to fester right there on its doorstep? What are they going to do? Pave it over and build buildings on top of it, regardless of what's beneath, and despite its dangers? I think not.
Yeah, I like the idea of I think what we need is an expedition. I mean, I think that what we have seen on that map and what may be another city 15 miles further in, I think.
Oh, I think the same. My next question is, this wizard here, what's to be done with him? As a resource, you could be very, very valuable to the Empire.
Well, what is your reading of him? I mean, it's very curious that he's out here by himself.
It is very curious to the extent of potential serious danger if he decides. I mean, we, effectively speaking, we need him on our side. I mean, the trouble is you don't get to be like a powerful, lonely wizard living out here in danger. You don't get that to happen, even if he seems like a dotty old affable scholar, right? If he's a dotty old affable scholar, why isn't he living in Thale? You know, running an academy or something. Why isn't he down in the Free City? You know, why isn't he in Paradise City living it up? What's he doing out here? So either he has some terrible agenda that he's hiding underneath this veneer of being a dotty old grandpa who's just sort of helpful to travelers for no good reason. Or, you know, he is a dotty old grandpa, in which case, you know, that's a lot of power to be throwing around. I suggest that we treat him right now with respect as guests to a host, but we keep in mind that in the long run, either he supports our goals here or he doesn't. And we'll make contingency plans for either case.
Do you think that we should show him the papers with the writing?
Right now, his goodwill matters.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they're his? I mean, I didn't get to look through the papers and stuff like you did.
Well, I think it's likely, or, you know, he certainly would be somebody who would probably be able to make some use of them.
In this, it could go very badly. What if these are, you know, what if we're the life, of course, you know, as you know better than anyone, Goddess, life is a story. Is this the chapter where our lives are stories? Is this the chapter where is this a chapter where the unthinking or careless person returns to the evil, the very thing it desperately seeks? I mean, is that what he does? He's helpful to people going out in the fens, hoping they'll return this thing to him. And we have, you know, unleash a source of power harmful to the Empire and harmful to our own plans. Or is this a golden opportunity for the Empire to acquire, you know, a powerful friend and ally in the context of what you and I are seeking and planning?
Who was it? Was it throxin?
Throxin, you aligned, yeah.
But was it throxin also? He lived out here with Mordat.
Correct. And now that he's aligned, maybe you can talk to throxin while I go do some ceremony, which is nicely designed for this very question. Scott, did you hear us at all? I think you missed some of our.
Yeah, yes, I did actually, and that's very interesting.
Interested in the recording because we've been doing a little bit of thinking.
Okay.
And so I am going to go and do some ceremonial stuff. Because I have a question. And that question concerns whether our host is potentially a benefit, a help, and an ally to our ambitions here, which is basically to reclaim the fens and dig up the ancient cities for the good of the Empire under the Empire's control. That's what we're going to do. And the question is whether he would oppose that or would be a help to us in doing that. If he would oppose it, then he doesn't get his box back. If he would help us, then he does. And
Okay.
Meanwhile, did you want to deal with Throxin in some way, Pixie?
Yeah, I think while he does that, I think Pixie will sit down with Throxin, who has been living out here with Mordak, and just try to get into a conversation to get Throxin's take on Mordak and what he's seen and what he thinks Mordak is. It's a curious thing that he is out here by himself in this rather desolate place, but what seems to be motivating him to stay out here and what he seems to be after.
Oh. Well, Throxin is a simple man, it seems. He doesn't know a lot about Mordak, his past, or, reasons. He's learned not to ask questions. He tells you he doesn't understand a lot of what Mordak does anyway, so it's never really been a lot of interest to him. He has always just been here as a did I tell you the reason how Throxin met Mordak?
You did not.
Oh, okay. Then he will go into the story about his past, what he does know, and that was that. So, Throxin was always just kind of basically an outcast. So he's out in the borderlands, and he was attacked by a group of Druid, led by one really scary guy named Fennec, and they were riding on Vulpine, like wolf-like creatures. They attacked him. He got hurt pretty bad. He escaped, made it to Mordak's windmill house, and Mordak healed him. And so they that's how he met Mordak. Mordak is a friend for that. Throxin can't read, and that's partly because of his background, just being he was always kind of a social outcast. He does say that Mordak was also an outcast, just like him. They were kindred spirits, is what he refers to them. So,
well, I mean, clearly, Throxin is no longer an outcast now.
He's got more friends than he has in a long time.
He's been aligned.
Oh yeah, that's true. So this is a big deal for him. Really, he's +1 Amberius, -1 willpower point.
Mm-hmm. So, while you guys are talking, so Scott, I went and looked up the ceremony, which I'm really, really good at because of this insane faith score. I've got +1 in ceremony, but and then +6. I've got a ceremony of 1 and a +6 in because of my faith. It talks about rituals and stuff like that, and I'd like to spend a fair amount of time setting up a ritual in which the actual presence of a living God is involved with that. So this is a ceremony to Miziriel, but I am doing it, with a fellow living God, who is, adding her voice to mine, right? So you can decide how much of a bonus that is for a ceremony.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It talks about a range of 1 to 3.
1 to 3.
Well, I mean, it would take, if I had 100 followers here and we spent 5 days on a ritual, that's worth a +3, which doesn't strike me as a whole lot, but that's how it is. She gets a fucking 5 for a feather. Jeez.
Oh man.